reading is one of the most challenging things that we do, or we learn to do, and the brain is used in a very holistic way. There's, the visual cortex is all in use, the auditory cortex should be very much involved, all the linguistic cortex, the motor cortex is used for controlling the eyes, and of course the frontal lobe for taking meaning from that. And then if you're reading out loud, a little area called Broca's area is firing to help with that. So when you do an MRI scan of somebody's brain while they're reading, you'll find there's just activity all over the place. Now, if you're under stress, the brain releases cortisol, and one of the effects of cortisol is to damp neural behavior. And it shuts the synapses down, and the reason for that is that the origin of stress always used to be danger. When all through evolution, if an enemy or a violent animal appeared, you would feel stressed, and you had to react in the right way. And generally, the right reactions to a dangerous situation are: 1, to run away; 2, to fight; or 3, to freeze. And the reason you freeze is because animals find it very hard to see pattern. They tend to see movement much more. And so when you stop, they find it hard to see you. And bullfighters are a great example of that. They challenge the bull, and then they stand very still, and they use the cape to draw the bull around them, because the bull sees the movement of the cape. It's not the colour, it's the movement of the cape. So the body has this response to stress that has been developed over millions of years. All animals are doing the same thing. So it's not just our evolution; it's our whole ancestral evolution from slugs. Now, we can't overcome that just like that. You can train yourself to deal with stress, but most of us don't bother to do that. So when somebody starts to get stressed as they read, it makes the reading process harder, because their cerebrum is shutting down. And so they get more stressed because they're finding the reading harder. We call this a stress spiral, and you end up with a book flying across the room, or somebody stomping off, or bursting into tears. And you will find there are people, and particularly children, who can read with one person and they can't read with another. And that's because of the relationship they have with those two people. With one, they're feeling comfortable and relaxed, and it all flows. The other person, they're feeling stressed and worried already, and of course their reading gets worse and worse, and they can feel that person getting cross about it, so they get more stressed, and bang, you got no reading happening. So the solution to this is really simple. You have to create a reading environment that is safe, that feels easy, and then the reading begins to flow, and you support that and you encourage that, and it gets better and better. And so we call this a reading scaffold, and it's we give a lot of support to the reading process, but we also create an environment which is fun and relaxed, and we're not bothered about mistakes and that sort of thing. And usually that gets great results, so that the child can do the reading practice, and it's that reading practice that builds confidence and builds experience and leads to competent reading.